This is just an update on the AquaSpy moisture probes that we've got here as we head further into the growing season. And there's just a couple things that I wanted to point out. This probe happens to be on a silt loam soil, planted April 21st, so this corn is good 8 leaf, probably maybe getting close to 9. And knowing out there it was it was at the knee or above stage, so it's bigger corn, starting to pull a little bit heavier. And this was installed on June 2nd. And you can see the different activity. This is just a summary of all of the active probes on here. And the main thing I want to point out right now is this green part is where you kind of want to live in. This is where everything is good with the crop. You got enough moisture. Down here, you're starting to get a little on the dry side. Up here is saturated point, or where it's 100% moisture. And as you can see on this probe, this what you see here on these slopes, this is the pull during one day. And from the time and the date up in the upper left-hand corner, you can see that this is last Monday, June 13th, when it was 100 degrees. And you can see that heavy pull here. That was one day. When you look at this green graph, that was one day's pull. Then here's Tuesday coming down. Here's Wednesday. Had a little uptick in some moisture, but then we've had the last 2 days. And the biggest thing is I'm thinking about is we've got this temperatures coming. We've got some 100-degree days coming again here, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And we're very similar to this pull here. And actually, we're probably going to get this bigger crop. We're going to have some heavier pull on here. And that could drop down, same thing. Here's one day. You could actually be down to here in about 2 days. And then all of a sudden, hey, I'm starting to reach over here. I need to start water, and then you got to start thinking that, oh, am I controlled? All of a sudden I get down here, and if I'm controlled, I don't know if they're going to control, but all those little things that would start to show up, that maybe I'm starting to play catch up here. If it stays hot and there's no moisture in the next 6 weeks or so, then I'm just kind of living down here and having a hard time. And so sometimes you might want to be looking at that and giving it a shot of water here in the next few days, just to have that raise back up so that you're not playing so much catch up on here. But then again, as those root systems, the root depth starts to get deeper, it'll kick on more sensors. And so maybe that probe, that pull may not look that far. But if you're in a more of a foot, just that top foot, which is where we're probably at right now, you can kind of see it says the rooting depth is 16. When I open up the sensors, individual sensors itself, I think we're really at 16. And you can see that days to below optimum, about 4 days in this heat. I would say that's probably correct. Then we look at the moisture sensors themselves. I've just got the top 4 kicked on here. You can see the 4 has dropped rapidly, which would be expected. The 8-inch is also pulling very hard in here. You can see now this 12 is starting to also pull down. And the 16 hasn't started probably actually pulling too much moisture out of that level, but it is turned on now. I got some nice stair steps on here, so I would expect this to have a steeper drop. This purple, the 16s, will still drop some more. Probably within this next week or so with this heat, I would expect this 20-inch to turn on, that it's not doing anything right now. Maybe there might be a little bit of root activity in here, maybe just a touch, but I would expect that to kick on, and maybe even the 24-inch sensor, which for sure we're not down there, but within probably a week or two, we'll start to be pulling in here, and we'll probably be looking at a V10 stage of growth somewhere in here. So that's just kind of the summary of what we're seeing out here. We're getting dry in that top foot, especially that 4 and 8 inches. If you've got something in even in heavier ground, it's one of those things you might be wanting to give it a shot of water.